This is a quick explainer for the third option in our final assignment for RTVF 153. So this is option C, quick explainer, what we're looking for. So that you're going to choose a feature film. It can be a documentary or a fiction film. Make sure it's a film you really like because you're going to spend a lot of time with it. I'm asking you to first do an outline, include your name, the film title, and what an outline would look like is it's a written document that for each scene is numbered, so scene number 1, with a one-sentence description of what happens in that scene. So one sentence describes the entire scene, and then you chart the entire film this way. Hopefully what you'll see is in a feature film, most likely you'll be surprised by just how many scenes there are. This is very instructive for people who want to make films because it gives you a sense of scope, how big is a feature film, how much happens. And if I'm going to write one about ballpark, how many scenes am I looking at for that story. With this, you're also going to do a graph. In the graph, you can draw this on paper with a pencil. You can do it on a computer. However you want to do it, it's fine. You're trying to graph 5 different things. Okay. First is the scenes, and just charting the scenes on a timeline. So this is the first 30 minutes up here. And then just numbering the scenes to get a sense of kind of the density. So this would be like scene 26, 27. And pardon me, this is going to look messy because I'm drawing with a mouse. And it always looks like a 3-year-old. Okay, so I'm gonna graph the scenes out. Then I'm going to work on the major ellipses. An ellipse is a significant jump through time. It could be off of a dissolve, but it's when the film moves through time in a significant way. We're talking jumps forward a day, jumps forward a week, jumps forward a year, jumps backward a day, jumps backward a month, jumps backward a year. So if there's a big ellipse, you might just note it. And actually, I'll tell you what, let's do it like this. I might show an ellipse like this, right? I might just point at where it happens as well. That's fine. Put in the ellipse, and if you want to make a little note, it might be like 1 year, that we jump through time. And again, sorry about the handwriting. It's really hard to write with a mouse. Okay, so I'm going to chart the ellipse, all the ellipses. And then if there's special transitions, does the film use dissolves, wipes, any kind of special transition, and where are they placed? The reason these are important is because transitions are used like grammar. If you thought of you were like writing a letter, and you're using an exclamation point, or if you're using a semicolon, or if you're using a period or a question mark, transitions function grammatically in individual films in different ways. So I can take a dissolve and I can make it mean something slightly different based on how I use it within the context of a film. So it's just useful to notice how directors use them and when they use them, and editors. Okay, so special transitions and then major time expansions. This means that time is somehow being slowed down in the film. The obvious way to do this is with slow motion. The other way that it's done, and this is very common, is that a moment is sustained, a moment is expanded, it's made longer by moving through different camera positions. The universal example of this is a Western, where you watch a shootout and the camera is cutting between all of these different things. It might be a close-up of a gunfighter, a shot of a tumbleweed, a shot of a spectator running away, a shot of the bad guy, and it might go through 50 different shots, and because there's so many shots, they can hold the moment and expand time. A little hint, many fiction films and documentaries too have an expansion at the climax of the film. It's an incredibly common phenomenon, right? And so you would want to note the expansion. And then if you can, any details about the expansion. Sometimes there might be something really unique about it. For example, if you're looking at the Matrix and it's bullet time, stuff like that. Okay, and then you're going to do sound design. And for the sound design, you can really do this with simple lines. So I can show the sound design in a film just by charting where music comes in. So that means it's ramping in right there. And then this piece of music might carry me through the first scene. And then there may be no music for a while. And then maybe we come to there's an action sequence here. And a backing track comes in that carries us through 2 scenes. And then that fades out. Whoops. So you're just showing with lines where is the music, and then give me a note about the music. Like what type of music is it, and what is the tone? So this might be an orchestra. And again, I can't write with the mouse, but I would write orchestra, right? And then I'd write the tone, the feel. It might be upbeat. It might be suspenseful. It might be scary. Whatever the vibe is of that music. This might be tense music over here. And this might be synthesizer, It might be whatever the source is. It might be a violin. And chart the sound design. If there's any really special sound effects. So an example from Godfather. There's a scene where the sound of a train approaching is a really important sound effect, and it ramps in. It ramps in a huge way. And I would make a note of that sound design. Okay, so scenes, counted out, numbered, so you can see the ratios. Major ellipses, an ellipse is a major jump backward or forward in time. Special transitions, dissolves and wipes. Expansions, which are stretching time out. It's usually done with slow motion, or more commonly, it's done with using a lot of different camera shots to sustain a moment. And then chart the sound design. Now, if you want to go a little bit farther, and I recommend this for people who are serious about studying film, this is not required for the assignment, but because you've already done so much, I would also chart story. I would look at the film and just make notes about the story, like what happens when. And you can learn an amazing amount. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say we did Jaws. And I made some notes. I said, okay, when in Jaws do you meet the antagonist, the bad guy? And I'd look at it and say, oh, wow, you meet him right at the very beginning, right? When do I meet the protagonist? That's the main character. I meet the protagonist after the antagonist, okay? That might seem like no big deal, but then you might say, well, all right, well, wait a minute. What if I looked at Star Wars Episode 4, made in the late 1970s? Who's the first major character I meet? Well, it's actually Princess Leia, but who else do I meet at the very beginning? I meet Darth Vader. And when do I meet Luke Skywalker? I meet Luke Skywalker after I meet the antagonist. If I look at the Lego movie, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the first character we meet is the bad guy. So by charting this, you'll start to see patterns. And that's one common pattern, is a lot of films introduce the bad guy first. You might look for something called the inciting moment. The inciting moment is in the first act somewhere. It's the moment where the main character is trapped and they can no longer go backwards. They make a choice or something happens that there's no path out of. That's called the inciting moment, and it's at that point that they have only one option to go forward. You could chart what is the emotional trajectory of the main character, what are the highs and lows. Like in Jaws, the main character might kind of, actually he gets really stressed at the beginning because of the shark. You might just kind of chart like what happens to the main character, the highs and lows. So it doesn't have to be specific, but I would definitely recommend you look at trying to graph story, because ultimately this art form is a time-based art form, and that's why having a sense of scope and being able to see the scenes is important. But the whole thing is it's designed to support story. So if you can start to correlate the two, that's very, very powerful. Okay, to summarize the assignment, you're turning in 2 things: a written outline, put your name, put the name of the film. 1 sentence describes 1 scene, please number the scenes. And then a graph done in pencil and paper. You can photograph your graph afterwards and turn it into a PDF or JPEG's fine too. You're going to graph these 5 things over here. If you want to go farther, include story. That's not extra credit. That's you getting better at filmmaking. and you turn it in on this page inside Canvas. You'll submit it. You'll see a button up here that says submit, and that is that assignment. Okay.